What's up guys, welcome to the very first episode of Random Select, a new series where I'm going to pick up a new character each week and kind of show you guys my learning process with them. This might be a little different from what you're used to. I'm going to be doing a YouTube video where I break down the character in a more cohesive, coherent way. I'm just going to leave that for one YouTube video on its own, and then the other YouTube video will be my progress throughout the week with that character from my Twitch VOD. Alright, for our first character, we're going to do none other than Gill. Gilliam Gillington III. Gill. Why don't we get into how I would describe Gill's playstyle? The way that I would basically describe Gill's playstyle is I feel like he is a zoner, but he's a bit more of a hit and run zoner. We don't really have a lot of characters like that in this game, maybe like Manat and stuff, but Gill is more of a aggro hit and run kind of character, right? The way that I would describe the hit and run playstyle is you're basically just hitting your opponent with different options and then backing up. So you want to randomize your approach so that your opponent doesn't really know what to do, but you also want to chill out a bit and don't overextend when you have a life lead. When you have a life lead, through randomizing your approach, you want to kind of chill out and rely on your very good anti-airs, your back heavy kick anti-airs, your crouch fierce anti-airs to kind of get that last opening you need to get in and kind of close out the round in a more solid way, like maybe a frame trap, maybe a throw, something pretty basic, but you need to whittle them down through your extensive hit and run playstyle. Alright guys, now let's get into this hit and run playstyle that I really think sums up Gill. So for those of you who aren't really familiar with Gill, Gill has pretty decent walk forward speed, but his walk back speed isn't very good. However, his dash is very good. So this helps supplement his kind of whatever walk forward speed and his like not that great walk back speed. It's really how you use the dash and how you use his specials to really annoy your opponent. Most his normals aren't, they're good, but they're not the best. I think Fierce is a really good move to throw out when you're reading a dash, because you can get a pretty good combo. You can get a pretty good combo when they get hit by it. But basically, hit and run playstyle is very important with Gill. If you want to look at a good Gill to help you with the hit and run playstyle, look none other than watching Nemo. Nemo is super good with his hit and run playstyle. He does a lot of things where he does like dash, crouch short, which is very fast, and the stand fierce. It's either going to catch you pressing a button most of the time, or it's just a good block streak. Here's a common example of hit and run that I saw Nemo doing. He would backdash, throw out some cryokinesis, and then once he feels like his opponent might jump, he won't do that one. He will do this to try and snipe them, or he'd also do boom, backdash lariat if he feels like his opponent's gonna come in. Mind you, if lariat whiffs, a lot of the time, it's so fast. The recovery is so fast that like if you're not really ready to whiff punish it and it whiffs right in front of you, a lot of the time he can just do like a crouch medium punch and a fireball. And this is a good way to set up like your activation right here. But a lot of the time at this far range where you kind of get clipped, just barely walking in, the lariat hits like on the later parts of the lariat, basically the last hit, which makes it a lot safer than usual. See, if I do the full thing up close, I get punished by Candy's crouch strong. Seeing as this is -6, if you're unfamiliar with frame data, really look at this attack data, which you can set up here. You just turn it, go from off to on, and you can see what's plus, what's blocked. The main thing here is I want to show you what happens when you block it really far. That's a little too close. There, you can clearly see by how late it hits that it's safer. And this is what Nemo is super good at. Yeah, so he's super duper good at spacing himself to either make that lariat hit you. You're either gonna block it on the later active frames or the later frames of the move, really. So it's really hard to punish, or you're gonna get hit by it, or it's gonna whiff, and then you can do something safer. You can do like crouch strong just to kind of hit them, messing up their punish, or reacting too late to the lariat whipping. It's one of those moves that like you get really shocked that like it's like survivor's guilt. Like you survived not getting hit by such a fast move that you kind of like freak out, and it causes you to hesitate a little bit. That hesitation is something you want to take advantage of as Gill. And like I really just think this character, it's the way that you should play this character is very hit and run. Just the way I described. You want to backdash when you're a little negative. This move is -3. So what you want to do, or -6. So what you want to do is backdash
you want to backdash so opponents can't really take advantage of you being negative right here. And it messes up their spacing. Like, say Cammy wants to dive kicking you immediately, you're going to get away from that dive kick. And really kind of frustrate them. This playstyle is meant to frustrate, and I feel like that's exactly how Gill should be played. He doesn't have the best neutral. His zoning is, it's pretty good. It's not the best, but if you can really mix in the lariat, mix in like the upward fireballs to hit them coming in, those kind of things will help make your Gill a lot stronger. So I want to show you guys kind of what this kind of setup looks like. The early cryokinesis to read a jump. The best thing to do right here is just to dash. You dash, keep your Oki. Basically, Oki means like your pressure. If you do other, kind of other extensions with Gill, you don't really get the best kind of juggle. You only can really get damage. And while that can be good when you have the life lead, when you're trying to come back, for instance, like say you're losing, I think it's better to just go for something like this to make sure you get in. Because while you can do stuff like this, look how like half the time I'm not even getting the juggle. Half the time, if it does hit, it doesn't really lead to much. Like if I get that forward heavy kick into this, like look how far the opponent is away from me. Whereas if I just do this, into forward heavy kick, I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna get my pressure going on. And I think that's way more important, especially when you're losing. But if you're winning, dude, definitely go for the damage. Keep them out, really frustrate them. Make sure that they can't come back as easily as if you decided to go in. So I think it's really important to mix it up, depending on how well you're doing it in the round.
In conclusion, guys, Gill is a very complex character that needs to be played differently than most characters. From his hit and run playstyle to his unique anti-airs, his combo routes, and learning his retribution system, all of this takes a lot of practice and diligence. But if you put the time in with him, I believe you can do a lot of damage on the scene. A few things that are worth noting. One being that Gill doesn't really get pressure after his jab confirms in a light lariat. To supplement this, you should try to use light punch cryokinesis and follow behind it. Be aware of opponents trying to jump over the fireball and be ready to crouch fierce anti-air them if they do. Secondly, if you want better pressure in general, spend bar off your medium confirms to use EX Cryo Lariat. This EX Lariat I feel is better to use because your bigger retribution combos start off from putting your opponent in an ice state. Once in this ice state, it's best to follow up with a fire-based move like Light Punch Cryo Lariat. Learning how to optimize these things can take your Gill to the next level. Lastly, Gill's V-Skill 2 parry is really good as a last second reaction to opponents going for a cross-up on you. After you successfully parry your opponent's cross-up jump, be sure to stand medium punch them and fish for a confirm. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed that video of our breakdown of Gill. If you did, please hit that sub button and the notification bell to see when our next video goes live. Our next video will be our Twitch VOD of our progress with Gill. Guys, I hope you enjoy it. It's a little brutal. We have our moments, but yeah, I'll see you in the next one. See you guys.